Now, I'm going to pause it. I'm going to stop talking and be still so y'all can keep seeing my belly moving. But I know y'all see my belly moving. Y'all have to understand that I've been abused and they said they raped my child and I am pregnant. This is the same baby from inside of the jail. They are refusing me medical care saying she's not pregnant. They are trying to starve me, leave me outside, paint me as a prostitute bum. And this white male was attacking me in my home. The white women and white doctors in the hospitals are lying. Saying that I'm not pregnant. And I've carried the baby. I carried the baby from September 18, 2018, the day that I shot him. But I went into labor in the cell while these celebrities was doing witchcraft, trying to let them murder me pregnant in the jail. So when my cervix started spreading, they started spraying me with chemicals, and my cervix closed. I was already having bleeding, but for you to lie and say she's not pregnant, and keep abusing her. So right now I'm smoking Black and Milds and cigarettes. I've been smoking Black and Milds and cigarettes since they lied on my ultrasound. When I went to a studio to get an ultrasound, and the white woman was lying, saying that she couldn't see a baby and trying to crush the ultrasound tool into my abdomen. After that, when my little sister put me out of her home, after the white woman lied and said I wasn't pregnant so that everybody could act like they didn't have a reason to help me. And I started smoking cigarettes, like bought a pack, because Cynthia said she was raping my son. And I asked Shakina. Shakina did the ritual with Cynthia when she said she was raping my baby. And I asked, I'm in a little doggy park, and I asked Shakina, why would you tell me to leave your home? I had only been in her house like a couple of weeks. And I was supposed to be staying with her and getting a job and getting my son back. And I said, Shakina, why would you put me out of your home a month before the custody hearing for my son? Now, Cynthia said she was raping my child and that she put a hit out on this baby. So Shakina expect for this baby to be dead already. Larissa Jones expect for this baby to be dead already. Cynthia expect for this baby to be dead already. And because Cynthia put a hit out on this baby, she don't want this baby to come out. And she don't want people to see that it's Austin's baby. Because look at how y'all done did. Now, God said, blessed is he who don't cover their sin. I admit that I've been smoking it, because smoking the cigarettes and stuff, because they said they raped my little boy. And women sue and win for people putting them in distress. And attacking me in my house, refusing to help me when I'm calling police, watching him attack me pregnant with this child in the streets. Even if I wasn't pregnant, it still doesn't matter. You don't attack women. But the fact that I am and you still lying about it, it has put me through so much stress. Holding me in the cell, poisoning my meals, my commissary, my drinks for up to 9 months. While you saying you raping my baby with his grandmother, Cynthia Olvera, a white woman, saying she's letting black men rape my child. It's only by the grace of God that this baby is still alive, because I screamed so much that I almost had a miscarriage, and God kept having to put me to sleep because I wouldn't stop screaming about them saying they was raping my child. So my stomach balled up. And that's when I knew, okay, I'm about to kill it by screaming, and I have to calm down. So what I do to keep myself from running up on them and fighting them about saying they raped my other child is I take the black and I smoke the little Black and Mild and try to tell what's going on to keep me from fighting them, to keep me from screaming and balling up on the floor and rolling around. They said they raped my baby. So I smoke the cigarettes to calm my nerves, and I know that I'm pregnant. And I know who baby it is. It's Austin's baby. which means that I've been carrying this little baby. Let's do the calculations of how long I've been carrying. I'm going to let y'all see it move a little bit more because it don't stop moving. As y'all can see, they try to say, oh, she breathing hard or she shaking her stomach, knowing damn well I'm pregnant. Y'all can even see when I'm standing up talking in my video, you can see a little pudge. It's a baby. And you can see a thump, like a little kick. And God said she feel the feet right there. She feel baby feet. So if you keep looking, you'll start seeing thumps. The police are riding around with sirens because they trying to cover up my pregnancy. Because I done been poor in America my whole life. My whole fucking life. And God said that the lawsuit about my pregnancy is $100 million. So I'm tired of them lying about it because I don't want no money from this government. They should pay me my money for what they did to my baby. But I don't want it. If it means you got to keep lying about it, I want medical care. I'm not in a mental place to carry a child. I'm smoking because y'all said y'all raped my other baby, and I kind of love him a little more because I gave birth to him. I breastfed him. I watched him. I taught him how to walk. I taught him how to talk. So when you take my firstborn child and said you raped him, I can't even give birth to this one because mentally I'm fucking my own body up behind Melby, behind my firstborn that they said they raped. All right, y'all, I gotta stop crying because the baby get real, start balling up in me. And this why I can't go to the damn strip club. And I really wanted to. Like, I love to dance, y'all. And I got my fucking heels and shit. And I can't fucking dance because of this baby. So the white Americans just want the baby dead. I don't even think they care any much about how much God said the lawsuit was worth, but it just breaks my heart because they had black women trying to fight me, and God was like, they trying to fight her and kill that baby in her because of how much I said that Andrea's lawsuit is worth. And I knew, like, me and my family, like, we grew up eating packs of fucking ramen noodles and shit. So the fact that I'm seeing my people try to stop me from winning a lawsuit and kill a baby in me that I done carried this long. So I carried the baby. September 18, 2018, the shooting happened. Okay, so Austin got out of prison, my baby daddy, July 10th, 2018. And he started attacking me over periods of time. Like, he was out for 10 weeks before I shot him. But he had been attacking me repeatedly in my house, and he had got me pregnant. And God said he was raping me. Austin was, like, forcing me to have sex with him when I said I didn't want to. And we wasn't using condoms, and he was ejaculating in me. And I did miss my period. So July, August, I missed my period. And so I knew I was pregnant, and he kept hitting me and stuff and forcing me to have sex when I was saying that I was tired. And I started bleeding, and God told me that's why you've been bleeding. That's why you was bleeding, because he was raping you. And then, so when the shooting happened, I was bleeding, but I didn't know the baby was still alive because I thought that it came out. Like, when you start bleeding and you missed your period, then I'm thinking I must have passed it, because it was still like the beginning stages. because the shooting happened in September. So he got out July, August, and then by September 18th, the shooting happened and I was bleeding. And I didn't know that the baby was still alive in me. And they took me to the Montgomery County Jail and gave my 22-month-old little boy to his parents at the scene where I shot him, where I ran for help, and he attacked me in Baytown Seafood in Conroe, Texas. And when I was in the jail on the charges, they charged me and for shooting him. And then they took my little boy and gave him to Cynthia at the scene, and Cynthia said she was raping my little boy that I have with Austin. So Austin was in prison while I was raising my child, and he got out attacking us. And I shot him after trying to get him removed from my home, but Conroe police was letting him flee to his mother's home. And Cynthia Olvera was hiding Austin in her house and then calling the police, asking the police to arrest me, saying Austin have scratches. And they were saying it's his word against yours. So the day of the shooting, there was a witness because I had ran, and there was witnesses in the streets of him trying to knock me down. And then he attacked me in the restaurant where I went and asked them to dial 911, and they dialed 911, and I hid behind the man that was dialed 911, and Austin came in attacking me in the restaurant, and I had my 22-month-old little boy, and then I had my purse, and it had a .380 handgun in it, and I didn't want to use it, but I was trying to get away from him and get the police. But he kept attacking me in my house and then trying to lock me in the house while he's attacking me. And I had to fight my way out the house with my little boy in my arms. And when he started attacking me and being violent with my son, I tried, but then I ended up shooting him after I shot the gun in the air because he had my son. And he was like slinging him upside down. And first he snatched him up by his leg and started slinging him upside down, and my baby was screaming. And then me and the man tried to get my baby from him, going around in circles, and I shot the gun in the air. And then Austin kept being stupid with my baby, and I put the gun to his leg and grabbed my son with the other arm, and I shot him in the leg. And then the white police gave my little boy to Cynthia, Austin's adopted mother, but she's white, and to his adopted father, Joseph. He's Hispanic, at the scene on Everett and Fraser Street in Conroe, Texas, where the restaurant was. And they put me in a squad car, and Cynthia took my baby and said she was raping him with the police, with white police, because Austin is white. And I was in there pregnant inside of the jail. So September 18, 2018 was the day of the shooting and the day that I got booked into the Montgomery County Jail in Conroe, Texas. I started calling my sister Shanara. I called her from Atlanta, and Shanara said she was going to bomb me out. She was like, that boy been trying to kill you. This is what Shanara said over the phone. She didn't say, oh, she said he been trying to kill you. When I told her that I shot him, she said, I got the money, I'm about to bond you out. Then when I called Shanara was like, she said, your sister, like my blood sister, because Shanara's my stepsister from my dad Andrew being married to Troy, her mom. So she said, your blood sister, Shakina, that's in here in Texas, she was like, Shakina said that she gonna bond you out. So Shakina, I called Shakina, and Shakina was like, she needed to get a title loan for her car or something. She said she was getting a loan so that she could place the bond. And Shakina knew he was abusing me, because I went telling Shakina I was afraid with my little boy at Vanessa's house in Humble and Texas. And I told Shakina and Vanessa that I was afraid that Austin was going to get out and keep attacking me, because his mom and dad had been helping me a lot with my son. And they was kind of trying to make it seem like I had to let him come back in my home, but I was the leaseholder. And then I told him that if he started hitting me again, that was it, that I would not give him no more chances with me to be a family with me and his son. And he got me pregnant and started attacking me again. So Shakina knew the evidence as well. And she told me that she had got the loan, that it processed, and that she had paid the bond, and that the bond was processing. And then she stopped answering the phone. And I started screaming for my little boy, telling the white women in the jail, like, y'all took my baby from me, like you took my child from me. I was still nursing, and there was milk coming out of my titties, and I was screaming like, where is my baby? Like, this man attacking me in my house, and I'm trying to get the police. He running me out of my house. He attacking me in places where I'm going for help, and if I don't want to be in a relationship with you no more, I don't want to be in a relationship with you no more. So why y'all make me lose my apartment and take my baby and say y'all raped my baby and leave me with this baby up in me? And so Shakina stopped answering the phone. The bond never did process. and they were doing celebrity witchcraft visitations on me and had bloods gangs and all these voodoo witches trying to kill me and the baby in the cell with white witches and warlocks. They had inmates and correctional guards trying to plot to come in my cell and have me murdered, and they started poisoning stuff when I told them. October was my first court date. Was coming up in October for felony court because they charged me with a felony in Patty Maginus's courtroom. And I didn't know the baby was alive at first, so I told the jail staff, I was like, can I get an extra cup of tea because I'm pregnant. I had felt the fetus moving, and they was having us drinking water out of a sink that was attached to the toilet in the segregated housing units. And I heard that people get urinary tract infections and stuff from that. So I was like, could you just give me some more tea? I figured I would be bonded out by then, that my family would come and get me like they said they would. And the man was like, he was like, you're not pregnant. You don't have to lie for an extra cup of tea. And I said, I feel a baby moving in me. And I already knew that I was pregnant, but I thought that I had completely miscarried by passing the fetus. And the male was like, well, I can't give you anything extra to drink until it's confirmed by the nurses, by the medical infirmary that you're pregnant. So I wrote a sick call letter to the medical infirmary in the Montgomery County Jail in Conroe, Texas. And they brought me a urine sample in the medical office and told me that I was negative. But the black woman was like, pray to God for your miracle, when she told me I was not pregnant. Like, they had her lie to me because of the type of case that I had. Like, okay, she's pregnant by this male, but we don't want her to use that as a defense. You know what I'm saying? So just say that we're housing this lady in the back of the jail and that she's not pregnant. And this was before they told me that they were raping my little boy out there. So while I was in the jail on the charges, I'm thinking that my baby was safe with Cynthia Olvera because she knew that her son was abusing me. Cynthia had called me and told me, please do not tell the police that Austin is hitting you. I don't want him to go back to prison. Because he had just got out in July. So she was like, just call me and I'll try to calm him down. And his father came over there yelling at me for calling the police. Like, why you keep calling the police on my son? And I told Joe, because he's being violent with me and I have a small child in the home. And my main concern was that he did not start being violent with my son, and he did. And so Joe tried to fight him in my room, in my living room, to try to calm him down, and he wouldn't leave. And he was trying to rob me for everything that I had in my home. And he was punching my child and knocking my child off of couches and snatching my baby up while he was attacking me. And it just made me afraid for the safety of my child, which is how the shooting happened, was because he was being violent with me and then snatching up my baby. So Cynthia and Joseph had took my baby, and I honestly did not trust Joe with my son, and I expressed to Cynthia, do not leave my child with Joe by himself. And my October court date, they had assigned me a lawyer named Inger Chandler, a white female lawyer who was stationed out of Woodlands, Texas. Said she was a court-appointed attorney and said she would get the charges dropped based off of all the information that she had acquired. And Inger said that they didn't have it, that they were still looking for 911 calls, but the Conroe police already had that, and they omitted it out of my arrest record. They didn't tell anything about 911 calls, witnesses calling him, assaulting me, his record, him just getting out of prison, nothing. None of the damages that they saw him punching holes in my wall and he admitted it. They didn't mention anything. They said she just hurt this man and he didn't do nothing to her. That's what they said. And so the man, they told me I wasn't pregnant, and I kept feeling the baby alive. And then they kept saying, you not pregnant, you not pregnant. I started screaming for a doctor, and they was like, you don't need no doctor. And then Inger Chandler assigned an investigator named Jim McDougal. He said he was a sheriff for the Montgomery County Police Department for 20 years. He found out all my medical records about Austin putting me in a hospital while I was pregnant with Melbourne, that my son almost died. He knew that my dad, Andrew, was a witness to seeing Austin beating me up in my home pregnant, beating me up after I had my son, which attempted to beat us up. And Andrew had to step in and fight Austin inside of my home. And Andrew was a witness. And Jim McDougal got that information. He had the information about the hospitals where I gave birth to my son, the hospitals where I was monitored after Austin attacked me, the 911 calls. He said he had pages of 911 calls. He said that Austin had been arrested from my address before he went to prison. He had everything. And he knew that Austin also was on methamphetamine, shooting meth in his arms. And he was smoking crack and doing heroin. And he had his arrest record that he had charges for drug possession, theft, assault, family violence, assault on a public servant. He was on a 2-year felony probation for assault. He was convicted for assault, and there they were about to set me up to be murdered pregnant in the jail with this baby, and then turned around and said they was raping my baby because I was black and I shot a white man. So during this time frame, they had me going into a white woman's courtroom named Patty Maginus, and I told Patty that he ran me out of my home with my child, attacking me in the streets, and that he was released from prison. Patty still let them hold me on them charges and bring me into the back of the jail, poisoning me, trying to murder me before my trial because I was pleading not guilty. And see how many minutes I got on this. And they set me another court date for December 2018. By this time, my family had completely stopped answering the phone, and I had visions of them going and getting in contact with my baby daddy's family and selling me out and running up behind him talking about, oh, he got shot. Oh, he the victim. Oh, Andrea should be killed because what if he would have died? And, oh, cover up her pregnancy and let it be his son now and let her never see her baby again. And then they was promising my sister that they could be in the, I guess, up under the whites in this country. And so while I was in there, God was saying I was pregnant. God was saying I was not guilty. The Black Freemasons was doing witchcraft, saying that they was pedophiles and that they would be raping my son with them. And January 2019, they lied in my court. They lied at my court date in December 2018, saying that they were still looking for evidence and probable cause that I was protecting myself. And then in January 2019, Sheriff Jim McDougal came up to the jail and met with me and said he had went and interviewed the witness from the restaurant where I shot him when I told y'all I asked the male to dial 911. And he said, you got a good witness. He said the male said that he was knocking you down into the booths and that he started being stupid with your baby. And the man felt like you was protecting yourself. And he was like, this should not have to go to trial. And he said, this is the fault of the Conroe police. But then Jim said, but they should have arrested you, though. They still had a right to arrest you, though. But God came back and told me, after Jim said that, he was like, he said, y'all shouldn't have even arrested her. He said the only reason why y'all did that was because she was black, because y'all had the evidence all along that she wasn't guilty. But y'all felt that y'all needed to punish her. So y'all put her up in the jail. And it was really y'all fault because y'all knew that he was attacking her and y'all knew she was trying to get help. But y'all wanted them white people to take her house and all of her stuff. So when she told y'all that she was being attacked in her home, y'all wouldn't help her. And so Shakina was doing witchcraft, laughing, talking about, that's why you lost your apartment. And then in January, after Jim said that it shouldn't have to go to trial, Cynthia did the ritual, which Larissa Jones, my older sister, Shakina Jones, my little sister, Andrew Jones, my father, my grandma, Irma Marshall from Chicago, my cousin, Kiana Wiley from Chicago, because Shakina and Larissa and Andrew, all them told my grandma and them that Andrea shot her baby daddy in the leg, and they have always been hateful to me. They have always been evil to me, which is why I was all the way in Texas with a baby by a white man instead of being with my family. And they took it upon themselves to team up with these white people to be like, oh, she shot him. Oh, that bitch. Oh, she thinks she gonna get off on some charges. Oh, no, we're gonna erase all that evidence. And they did a ritual with the Illuminati and the Black Freemasons trying to make me kill myself in the cell, saying that they were raping my child. Saying that this is white people's country, my own flesh and blood, brown skin family doing a ritual with this white woman saying she was raping my baby. And then Cynthia was saying that I was pregnant and she was calling the baby a rat because they had starved me with the poison. They had started poisoning me, making me not be able to eat in the cell, and I was not able to develop to a very large size. And she was like, we're going to kill that rat in your belly. And we trying to, she said she was trying to send demons and that they were trying to do rituals to try to make me go crazy in the cell, and that they were trying to get the police to jump on me and slam me on my belly, talking about I was pregnant. And then she said she was doing death rituals on me and my kids for white America, and that she was a Satanist. And that's when God said that I had a lawsuit and that I was pregnant, and that I also had a lawsuit about my son because they said they were raping my child. Cynthia was like, we making him suck dicks out here. And the black Freemasons were like, yeah, that's why we all got your baby. And we making him suck our dicks. And we all giving him AIDS and herpes. And I was hearing my baby screaming and seeing them doing witchcraft, showing them raping my child while they had me in a shitter cell trying to say that I was a mental patient, trying to strap me to a wheelchair and leave me dead. They tried to tell me to get on the ground and leave me dead, pregnant in the cell. And Jesus Christ jumped in my body, kept me alive, prayed over my wound, cast him out of the kingdom of heaven. And they kept me in the jail from January 2019, tried to lie. They set me up for another court date, February 2019, and tried to get me not to plead, but I pled not guilty. Set me another court date for like May or something, where they set my trial date for September 3rd, 2019, and they set the pretrial for August 22nd, 2019. And then Cynthia sued me because she knew that Andrea made it to the trial alive. Jesus Christ is keeping her. We got to find a way to cover up that we said we was raping her child, because they thought they were going to tell me that they was out there raping him and then leave me dead and make me die after you said you raped my child, and let that be the last thing that was on my mind, was that these people was out there raping my baby and covering it up with my family before I was left dead, pregnant in a cell. And Jesus kept me alive, and I was on my way to that trial, and I was getting close and working on the evidence, praying in the back of the jail with 3 translations of the Holy Bible. And I was served with paperwork from a white male that said there ain't gonna be no trial. This is gonna be the trial. And then they were suing me for my son after they all said they were gang raping him, and through a family court judge. And Patty Maginnis was still refusing to drop the charges or tell that I was innocent and pregnant. And so they sued me, and I represented myself in family court. My lawyer, Inger Chandler, said that she could not represent me in family court. And I told her that I was pregnant and that they were denying me the medical care. She was like, well, they're saying you're not pregnant. But as my lawyer, if I'm telling you that I'm pregnant, then you should have did something about it. And God said that she should not have allowed these people to sue me for my son because she knew the evidence. And then Cynthia said she was raping him. And then they went in Tracy Gilbert courtroom with Dean Garrett and William Harrison from Conroe, Texas, white males, and Tracy Gilbert family court with me without a lawyer, pregnant and starved, with them trying to murder me in the jail, bringing me into this white male's courtroom that was not the judge over the criminal case, to try to take over and be a white supremacist and say that Andrea can't get her baby back after they said they was raping them. And then he told me to write down my income, and I had to put 0 because I was in the jail. And I also was staying at home with my child and had benefits and people helping me with my rent while I had my son in my home. And was saying that since she don't have custody of her, since she don't have income, that we're gonna have to do a trial to make Cynthia and Austin go against Andrea for custody of her child, instead of and trying to murder me before my actual criminal trial, and try to say that I killed myself because they sued me for my son because I was a drug addict and a prostitute, and then lie and never say that there was even a shooting or what the shooting was about. Father God, excuse me, it's making my stomach ball up. And so I won, and Tracy said that he could not return. I got Cynthia to admit that Austin was attacking her in her house, that she also had a restraining order against him, that he was attacking his father, that he had assault charges, that he had just been released for assault, that he had attacked me and was charged with assault, and that I had a protection order against him when he was charged for assault. And I won. And Tracy said, well, Andrea, Mom, I can't give you your baby until you get out the jail. I said, God already let me know I'm not guilty and that I'm getting out. So Tracy was like, well, when you get out the jail, come and bring me the charges. And that's why, come and bring me the evidence. So I got out of the jail August 22nd. At the pretrial, they dropped the charges. And they caused me to lose my apartment, holding me in there that long. They were doing stuff to my labor when I went into labor, and my servants started spraying, and they were spraying me and putting stuff in my food. God said something about them trying to give me Plan B to illegally abort my child, and that they was doing it for a long period of time while I was in there, and I was bleeding the whole time. And then so Father help me, because I ain't got that much time on this video. I'm trying to get everything So then when they released me, they denied me into all of the shelters in Houston. They denied me into my sister's homes, my family. They left me outside just like this with bags for the Ku Klux Klan. And they were starving me just like they starved me in the jail, trying to cover up that I was pregnant and how long I had been carrying. And my stomach was flat and I was 125 to 142 pounds and well over 9 months pregnant. I know God prayed over my stomach, and he caused my wound to start back moving again when they tried to kill me in the cell, poisoning us because my wound had stopped moving. And I believe that I was like in and out, like damn near dead. I had purple veins all over my body. And they kept trying to set me up to be murdered with black men from the first night that I got out of the jail. They had black men with assault charges trying to rape me. And then Shakina didn't come pick me up from the jail and then had me go with a black man. And he tried to rape me the first night that I was out of the jail. And he tried to beat me up. And his name was Blackjack in Conroe, Texas, Montgomery, Texas. He tried to beat me up the first night that I was out of the jail on the charges. So I left his house after a day and I met another man. And they just kept having black men try to bring me to locations and fight me and rape me, and have them try to give me drugs and cigarettes and then not support me about what happened to me and the baby in the jail. And I went to Shakina's and she took me to a white woman that lied about my pregnancy, and Shakina put me out of her home. And then I was raped. And I carried the baby from December 2019 after the custody hearing. I went to a custody hearing where Tracy Gilbert was supposed to tell Cynthia to give me back my son, and Shakina staged to put me out of her home so that Tracy would not have to give me my son, because if I was with my family and he knew the evidence, then he would have had to tell Cynthia to give me my son. But Cynthia made an alliance with Shakina to allow her to be raping my baby for the Illuminati, and with my family to not help me, to have them saying that I'm a drug addict and a prostitute and that I fucked up my life, when it's really about a shooting and about an alliance that they trying to have with white Americans to cover up that they sold